All right, besties, another model house story for you guys, and I thought this one was appropriate because this happened during New York Fashion Week. Y'all remember my bestie Devin, who lived in the model house with me? Well, Devin booked 3 runway shows that year. I never did runway because I was a shorty in comparison to all my tall Amazonian babies. I was always invited to the after parties. Devin walked in 3 shows, and it was only his 2nd year on the scene. We were so proud of him, and we were like, okay, we're gonna hit as many parties that we can because we need to celebrate Devin. So we had already been to 3 parties at this point that were all for the designers that he had walked for. All very swanky, bougie, luxurious themed parties, which is kind of the theme for Fashion Week, especially during that time. But there was one party that we both got invited to, and it was for a very well-known designer who is now known as one of the creepiest men in fashion because of all the allegations that had come out about him of him creeping on boys. This is Devin's story. We were really excited about this party because this designer at the time was huge and he was doing really, really well. His fashion show was killing it that year. Tons of celebrities were wearing all of his things. And he was having this huge party on the Hudson River. And what was cool, it was a different theme than most of the other parties. It was a college party theme, a huge rager in a warehouse. By the time we got to this party, it was maybe like 1 a.m. We had been boozing it up and we're super tired, but we were like, there's no way that we're missing this party. So we take a cab over to the warehouse, we pull up, there's so many people outside smoking cigarettes and everything, just kind of filing in and out. We head inside and immediately we're like, oh my God, this party is sick. We were like, okay, we can actually live our college party fantasy come true. There were beer pong tables, cute waiters walking around with jello shots that were wearing like rugby shirts. It was a vibe. So we ended up downing like 4 jello shots before we even made a lap around to say hello to people. And we ended up running into a couple models that we knew, a couple models that Devin knew. And at some point we see the designer and the namesake himself, the man of the hour, whose party it was, and he was just kind of standing in the middle surrounded by a bunch of people. Devin's like, okay, I definitely want to introduce myself to him because maybe I can walk in his show one day. And again, this is before all the allegations had gone out about this designer. So we really hadn't heard anything about him. We knew that he really did love the young hot model boys, but we didn't know about his deviancy yet because that did come out like a few years ago. We're standing near the buffet table, which had all like college party elevated foods. So chips and stuff in bowls, all these like crudités and nice dips and stuff. If college kids had money to throw the party of their dreams, this would be it. Everyone is there. And me and Devin are standing in the middle and we end up running into our agent's assistant. So we're chatting with her. People keep coming up and congratulating Devin because they saw him walk in a couple of the other shows. And he's so sweet and being very accommodating. He's talking to everybody. And I end up seeing another model that I had just done recently, a shoot with a commercial shoot. And so I go and talk to her. He's standing in the middle, just kind of surrounded by some people, talking to them. And then I go off and I'm talking to her. At some point, maybe I want to say like 20 minutes later, I'm looking for him. I'm like, where is he? I just kind of get swept up talking to other people and everything. Devin and I had a code, which if we ever got in a situation where we wanted to leave a party, we needed help, or we needed the other one to just get us out of the situation very quickly, we would call our emergency friend Emery. And so we would always reference Emery like, hey, do you know where Emery is? Or, oh my God, Emery needs help in the bathroom. Or Emery's having an emergency because she saw her ex-boyfriend, something like that. So that would be what we would text. And then the other person would walk up and be like, oh my God, Emery needs our help. So I'm standing like drinking some champagne, chatting with some hot ass model dressed as a rugby player. And I get a text from Devin and it's like, need to find Emery now. I'm like, oh fuck. I was like, where are you? And he wrote like leather couch towards the back. I'm like, okay, let me find him. So I'm walking around the party looking for these damn leather couches, and past a sea and flurry of Victoria's Secret models playing beer pong, I end up seeing him in the back sitting with the designer of the hour. Now the designer has his legs over Devin's lap. He's like kind of like going like this on his hair, being very intimate. And I can tell Devin is not about it and just really uncomfortable. I start approaching. As soon as I want to say like 4 feet away, a group of models in schoolgirl outfits laughing, flurry by after going to the bathroom and doing, you know, God knows what. As soon as they clear my vision, I just see Devin with his face covered by said designer. The designer is holding his face in a lip lock with his legs on Devin's lap. And I'm like, okay, I know that this is not what he wanted. So I run over, and as soon as I walk over, I just see that Devin is frozen in place like this with his eyes wide open, and he does not know what to do. His arms are strictly by his side, just sitting there while this man is basically just making out with his still ass face. So I run up and I'm like, Devin, there you are. The designer pulls away, looks at me like he is going to try to cancel me from the industry. And I'm like, oh my God, Emery needs our help. Her ex-boyfriend is here and he's being really crazy. I need you to come now. The designer's like, we're kind of busy. To me, like, who are you, lowly 5'7" model that I don't know and I've never heard of? And I'm looking at him like, hello, creeper man, who's probably going to get canceled one day because this is really inappropriate behavior. And I look at Devin and Devin's like, oh my God, Emery, we need to help her now. I'm like, yeah. So I grab the designer's legs, I throw them off of his lap. I grab Devin and I pull his big ass with me. So we're running through the crowd. I'm just like, oh my God, that was so crazy. I'm so sorry. Are you okay? But I'm not looking at him, right? I pull him to a little hallway between a photo booth and some other Jello shots. And I look at him and his face is completely red and his eyes are like a little bit watery. I'm like, babe, are you okay? Like, what's going on? What happened? And he's like, yeah, I didn't know what to do. Like, he just kissed me and I froze. I'm like, yeah, well, he shouldn't have done that without your consent, but like, what happened? So apparently what happened was Devin was standing there getting congratulated by people, and then the designer had walked up and was like, oh, I saw you walk in so-and-so runway. I really like your swag. Maybe I should put you on my show next year. And Devin's like, oh my God, yeah, like, I'm a huge fan of yours. That would be great. The designer's like, yeah, like, let's go talk somewhere a little bit quieter. I want to find a cigarette and then let's go sit down. And Devin's like, great, thinking that this is going to be a career opportunity and a conversation surrounding his runway walk and not his lips. They're sitting on the couch, and apparently, like, the designer kept trying to get Devin a drink, but Devin was like, no, I've had enough. Like, it's still fashion week going. Like, I'm not going to really turn it up until the end. Like, I am celebrating, but I don't want any more alcohol right now. And the designer just like kept pressuring him. And Devin was like, I didn't know what to do. So I was just like, okay, sure. So he gave him a Jello shot. They took a Jello shot together. And then after that, the designer starts telling Devin that he loves his dimples and that he has such a great jawline and that he could see him opening for his next show. Devin had a buzz cut at the time. So he was kind of just like going like this. And he's like, you should really grow your hair out though. You know, I just like love a model with like a little bit of like a swoopy hair. Devin's like, yeah, I mean, I could definitely grow it out if I walk your show next year. The designer is like getting closer and closer to Devin and ends up eventually putting his legs on him, telling him that he loves his lips and that he loves a white boy with a full lip, and grabs it and went in to try to kiss him. And Devin turned his head and was like, oh, I need to go find my friend. The designer was like, later, you can find her later. And then just grabbed his head and pushed his lips against his. So Devin wasn't even officially out. Like, some people in the industry knew that he was gay, but the fact that A, this designer put him in a compromising position that he wasn't ready for. B, Devin wasn't really ready to show the world that he's attracted to men. C, this was obviously harassment and against his will. And D, this is a power play move on this designer's part because that man is a man of power and can make Devin's career better or worse at this point. I'm like, okay, babe, do you want to leave? And he was like, yes, absolutely, let's go home. So we jump out, past all the models and designers doing Jello shots, doing keg stands, and we're about to leave, and two of our friends are at one of the keg stands, and they're like, oh my God, hi, you guys. And we're like, oh, hey. They're like, do you guys want to do a stand? And Devin's like, no, like, I just really want to get out of here. And they're like, okay, no worries. And they're like, wait, Devin, like, are you okay? And I look over, and Devin is full on now, just has like tears coming down. And I'm like, oh yeah, he's fine. He's just exhausted. Don't worry about it. We run out, we get into a cab. Devin just starts crying, and he's like, look, I know that there's things that are worse that have happened to a lot of people, especially women, but I felt so uncomfortable. I didn't know what to do. I feel like I betrayed my morals and my mother because I didn't say no, and I just kind of let it happen, but I froze. I didn't know what to do because he told me that I could open for his show next year. And I was like, dude, screw him. Like, the fact that he used his power to pressure you into a situation that you didn't want to be in is classic predator behavior that is not okay. We go back and we go to sleep, and the next day he's feeling a little bit better. We go have like a little bit of a self-care day. We went to one of those Korean spas and had some champagne with brunch. And then I want to say it was like maybe about a week later, Devin and I and one of our other friends who's a tattoo artist, we're walking down in the meatpacking district just going to get some falafel, and we end up running into one of the seamstresses for that designer. And we knew her because we met her at the party, and we're like, oh, hey girl, what's up? And she was like, oh, hi. We're kind of catching up with her, and she's like, yeah, you know, I've needed a whole week to just like decompress and actually get over fashion week and that whole thing, but it's really good seeing you guys. And then our tattoo artist friend, who's, you know, not in the modeling industry and just is like excited for our friend, he's like, well, hopefully you'll be getting to know this one a little bit better, pointing to Devin, because your boss promised that he was going to open up for his show next year. And the seamstress got super awkward, and she was like, oh, really? I hadn't heard that. Well, I hope that works out. And we were like, that was weird. So she leaves. Did Devin end up getting to open for that man's show? No, he did not. Did he end up working with that man? No, he did not. Was this the last we heard from that man? No, it was not, because then a few years later, he was making headlines for his despicable behavior. And even though Devin did not want to come forward and talk about his scenario because he felt like this designer had gone even further and had been more heinous with a lot of other models, like he had done worse things to other models. So Devin didn't want to talk about his scenario. I want to say that just because you're in a situation where somebody forces themselves to kiss you or even forces themselves to do more with you, either way, any sort of behavior that is against your will and against what you're comfortable with is not okay. As always, babies, consent no matter what. Never feel bad about speaking up in a situation that you're uncomfortable with. And to the creepers out there, get your life together. Touch grass, find Buddha, pick up a hobby, go to therapy, but figure out what is wrong with you in your head that makes you act this way. I hope that you do find some random sand in your eye that you can't get out for many, many years.